midweek preview time. Daggy and Beaver with you to get stuck into Sandown and Warwick Farm this afternoon. How are you travelling, Beaver?
Travelling very well, Daggy, on a bright, sunny, warm Sydney day.
Yeah, another warm Sydney day. We've got whatever's left of Warwick Farm to get into shortly, but we'll kick off at Sandown, will we? Where the rail is in the 6 metre position on Lakeside track. Got a good track down there. Weather looks good. Let's see if there's any bias. If it is, I suggest it towards the inside. And when you kick off with a 1200 metre maiden plate, anything caught your eye in the first?
Oh, look, it's not an overly it's not overly thrilling card, but in the first, I think the favourite Moto Man showed enough on debut to suggest it could break through its maiden here. It was well fancied there, sat on the pace. As you said, if there is any leader-based biased here, gate one, first up here on this track, should get those advantages and be hard to run down.
Yeah, I found this tricky because I think a few of these having a second start ran into good horses on their first start, and a couple of the untrialled ones, a couple of the unraced ones trialled quite well. If I was going to have a bet in the first, I might have something small on Acid Wash at the top, who I like pretty much most of its trials here, and it was double figures last night. So give it a berth from Motor Man from gate one, might get first use of that rail and be hardest to beat. The second is a 1400 metre maiden where I'm not quite sure where the pace is, which left me a little bit confused. So I'm thinking I'll play around a couple. I'm hoping Red Mile, who's shown some pace in a couple of earlier jump outs from gate 5, can push forward. Missed the start slightly on debut and was just out the back. Might have wanted to see it up to a mile, but stayed at 1400. More positive here. I'll go with it on top from Salou, who's been gelded. Ended up in town last prep behind Sunsource. Gelded since, revved up in the last trial, hit the line really well, and suggest it may run better than the double figures. But obviously, we'll know more after this race. In terms of the card itself, actually, just you mentioned it's not the greatest card, but I think we're going to see some form lines that will hold up for the next month or so in some of these next few races we're going to get to. But what do you reckon about this race, first of all?
Yeah, I went for Red Mile as well. Similar reasons for you. I think would have derived plenty of benefit from that first up tilt. Probably was a little bit tardy away, and with a little bit more pace here, can take up a forward position and be hard to beat. And it's got the right combination in Moody Nolan here. Main danger, Tuck. Well supported first start. Again, one that should have derived plenty of benefit from that and can improve here. A double figure odd second base start.
Beauty. The third is a benchmark 70, 2,400 metres. And if Glentaneous is ever going to win a race in Australia, is this the one?
I think that's right. I think this is its perfect chance here. This doesn't look to be a race with a large amount of depth. Small field, should take up a position wherever it wants, and looks the one to beat.
Race 4 is a mile benchmark 64, and again, the favourite has a lap on these. Surely both its runs back in have been very impressive. It comes to an average 64. On a day I'm not that enthused to be betting, I think my main bet's going to be linking up the favourites in these two races and hoping I get a result, because there's nothing else here, is there?
I think you're spot on there, and I think that's a good approach. Link those two up, and watch on, look on.
The fifth is a 1200 metre benchmark 64. Who have you found here?
Yeah, this was a tricky race, and I see the one that I did come up with has now been backed into favourite here, an Intrepid Eagle. Surprisingly, it was a little bit better value than that not that long ago. But
Well,
there's
we've
been
lost
a few scratchings.
Yeah, we've lost nearly
Lang Park
50%
right off.
in deductions.
Yeah, so it was one that I thought would be hard to beat, and now with those scratchings, I think it's a good play, and I've got it on top. Resuming here has gone well, fresh in the past, and I think it can be the hardest to beat from the right draw.
I'm left with Valois on top, who chased the line quite well. First up behind Salui, who's a nice horse. Won well, and then just took no part in that sprint race at the Valley. If we're swooping and with a small field, I think can improve off that. and I'll put it on top from Intrepid Eagle, who you've covered off well. A few of those ones that were scratched, I think I'll keep an eye out because if they resume at a Thursday or Friday meeting, I'll be pretty dirty if I miss them because a couple have trialled okay. The 6 is a 1400 metre bench, class 1, in fact, which is the most interesting race of the day, where I'm going to go with Call Him Iggy on top. Really impressive debut. Rode the pace well there and ran away. I think can do the same. If it sucks across from the 15, finds a running lung spot, it's going to be very hard to beat. From Spirit Beast, who there's been some money for this morning, but it was good last prep. Trials were fine. And one outside the market a little bit in Daya is next best, who produced a lovely trial and comes way back in grade. But with a few other lightly raced horses here, I think this will, as I said, be some key form ones to head forward to the same races in the next month or so.
Yeah, I've gone for Spirit Beast here. I think he can be hard to beat first up. Only had the 2 starts last campaign, and there was some merit there. So I think that's lines up well for this type of field and resuming here. Trialled okay at Tatura, finished second, wasn't pushed out, and I've got it on top with the right combination of Lane Friedman.
The 7th is a 1400 metre, the 4th of the 1400 metres on the card. Benchmark 70 again. Who have you found in State 1?
Yeah, I've gone for Who Dares here. I think this is the right race now. It was beaten by a pretty good horse last start and fought on really hard, led up there, only just sort of nutted on the line. I think it controls this race here and it's going to be really hard to get past.
I was all over Who Dares last time. I'm jumping off, so it's probably a moral here. I'm going to have something on the first Australian starter here in Lauding. Some okay Kiwi form, 3 jump outs, most latest of which just sucked up underneath and won it really well. Around the $5 mark, I think it runs well here. I'm going to put it on top. If we can jump on, track pattern might have me nervous by this stage. Main danger for me, Royal Hard Hat, who was he's coming off a nice jump out, does boast did a fight at the finish with Mac Tube here last prep. So we'll play around with them and see if we can just knock off this cat of a horse that's favourite again. But good race. Let's wrap up with a 1400 metre benchmark 70, and Material Dreams comes right back in grade from the Group 3, where it just got bumped and over-raced and didn't really take part in that. This sets up much better, particularly with the scratchings now. I think can be positive, and I think can get back to the winner's stall. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's a pretty tricky race here. It's you're right with Material Dreams does come back in to the right grade here. So I thought it was going to be hard to beat. I just went for something at a little bit of value here, and I've gone for Aiming from the Mar Eustace stable. First 2 starts, probably not as bad as what they look on paper. Hasn't had a lot of luck in those, and 8th and 8th, but I think now it can get a bit, possibly up better here from the 3 gate. And I think it's a lot fitter. So I think at around the 850 mark, it's a good each way play.
Awesome. For ProGroupRacing.com.au, what is your best each way play for the day and your best bet?
My best of the day is race 3, number 3, Glentaneous, all on to race 4, number 5, Plenty of Ammo. And my value bet comes up in the last race 8, number 12, Aiming.
Nice. I'm with you. 3-3 into 4-5, and my value will make it Lauding, race 7, number 14. To wrap up our look at Lakeside, we're going to up north to Warwick Farm. We've got a hot day. The rail goes into the 3 metre position. Let's see if we can make up much ground. But there's small fields and only 6 races, so apparently no one else wants to be here. We kick off with a 2400 metre benchmark 72, which has left me particularly uninspired. Did anything grab your eye?
Uninspired, but I'm going to go for Harold the Great from the Wallace stable. Last couple of runs haven't been that bad. Only a couple of lengths behind Father's Day and a length behind Hurricane in Melbourne. Could run well here in an open race.
The second is 1,000 metre 64, maybe the most interesting race of the day. But I am going to spec Infancy, who I think might be best horse. Two very nice wins in Queensland. Went to some black type racing where the saddle slipped in one of them. Trial's been good away from home since. Comes here for gate 2, Dylan Gibbons. I'll put on top, but by no means immoral. DeBello flopped out the back last time, ran home really well. Marshall Music might just get a complete jiggy jog up front and be hard to beat too. But like I said, gut feel is this is a better than 64 grade horse. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I got the same gut feel as you. I've gone for Infancy for all the same reasons. Trialled well enough for this and has got some form in listed company. And I think it'll go forward as well, Daggy. You know, its recent runs in that listed company races, it sat on the pace. So no reason not to think from gate 2 it wouldn't do the same here.
Yep. The third is an 1100 metre maiden. Who do you like?
Yeah, going for the unraced Zaragoza here from the Cumming stable. Like the blue colours. Wasn't asked to do much in its most recent trial, but that looks still full of merit, and I think it gets the right field to win at its first race start.
Yeah, left it on top as well. The trials were lovely. It finds a nice kicking off point. Tarabo, the obvious danger, who ended up in the Blue Diamond Prelude, coming off a long time off, but has had a decent rev up off those trials since. I think there's only two hopes. The fourth is a 1400 metre benchmark 72, and going with the leader here in Sumo Star. Two good runs in this time in, behind two decent horses, Shadows of Love, who's flying, and Tumbling, who's came back in fantastic style. Now hard fit third up, complete control. I think it will win this. Danger is Atlantic Ocean, who has finally broken through, and I guess can use that as a springboard for this one. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going for number 6, Lamar here. Third up now, and both runs in this prep have been really nice. Out to the 1400, I think suits, gets the right draw, can sit just off the pace here midfield, and I think can run over the top of him in the end. It was a fair run last start at the Canterbury night meeting, so hard to beat here.
Beautiful. That's the only message I got from my mate Johnny. He said it's his best of the day as well. The fifth is a 1200 metre benchmark 78, best race on the card, all bar a Saturday race. But I'm going to say fresh is best for Crafty Eagle, saved from the wet track last week. Now resumes on a Wednesday and comes off some nice enough trials. Good kick-off point, really, if nothing else, around a $3 mark. Main danger, obviously, is King of Naples with Nash. And the trials were awesome. Could see it getting backed. But to me, again, a couple of clear hopes. Just going to take on Miss Hellfire, who was fine first up, but now still has Jet Stanley. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going Crafty Eagle fresh as well. Has great fresh form. Has won 2 out of its 3 fresh starts and the placing in the other. This looks like an ideal start to its preparation and clear on top for me.
Let's wrap up with this 1400 metre benchmark 72 5-year-old and plus midway stable apprentice race. In case you needed any further encouragement, anything going to win it though?
Going to stick with And We Danced. It was a good win first up. Comes from a stable that I like. Gets the 3 kilo claim over the 1400 metres, and that was a good win given it was first up for over 16 months. When it won at Wagga, comes straight to town here, and I suspect it should be really hard to beat.
You know what? When you think about it, the form around Nothing Sweet About Me and Kanazawa looks pretty good. The more I think about this, doesn't it?
Yep, that's exactly spot on. Yeah,
I has to do it on a dry track, but fair enough. I don't really have an idea here. Dylan Gibbons' best jockey. I thought Miss Ciccone leading back from a Saturday grade for McLucas might be the main danger, but I have no set opinion, and most likely won't be betting unless there's a nice price about the one. Actually, might just tag on with you there. Your best in value for Warwick Farm?
Yes, my best bet comes up in race 6, number 1, And We Danced, and my value is race 4, number 6, Lemaire.
I make my best race 4, number 5, Sumo Star, and my value is race 2, number 7, Infancy. I guess I don't have a lot of more to offer there. Do you have any more to offer up north?
Yeah, there was a few up north that I did find. Uh, they were sort of later in the day there. I liked race 6, number 8, Ring of Steel. And then in the last, race 7, number 2, Rishon.
Beautiful. Flying Rishon, actually. Nice find there. We'll be back on Friday, Beaver, Thursday evening or Friday, somewhere around that time, to do probably Friday now. The cricket's kicking off. To do Villiers Day and Ballarat Cup Day. So looking forward to all of that. Check out progretracing.com.au and we'll chat soon.